All right, 6:45. It's Big Jim. Stacey Lee here, getting it done on a finally Friday, and we have got a very, very high caliber celebrity on our show. Let's welcome him to the show, Jason Isaacs. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. I've been talking about myself for about 2.5 hours, and my wife says it's my favorite subject.
Good of her.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I've been keeping an eye on you for a few years now. Got my first glimpse of you in The Patriot with Mel Gibson. You were the bad, bad man.
Well, it depends on your perspective, obviously. You know, I was just trying to win the war. If you're British, I was a war hero, but sadly I lost. I mean, along the way, I had to slaughter some women and children and prisoners, although the thing that got people most upset was I killed the animals on Mel's farm, and that always gets people more upset than killing humans.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. It's very weird. I don't understand it. You can do anything you like to a human being on screen, but if you kill a cat, forget it. You'll never get the audience back.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing ever. Well,
tell us about Lucius Malfoy. Now, of course, I mentioned to my husband and son last night you were going to be on the show. And as soon as I said the bad guy, the blonde, and they go, oh, Malfoy? And I said, yes.
Well, you know what's funny is that people think of him as a bad guy, but the truth is that he's a coward and a bully. The real bad guy is Voldemort. Voldemort is just evil to his core. Malfoy tries to be evil, but he's pathetic. His son, his wife reject him. Voldemort turns up and completely emasculates me and humiliates me, snaps my wand, which, let's face it, is very little other than castration in front of everybody else, and I think of him as a tragic loser, but I'm glad that people think of him as having any kind of power at all.
I like the
the tragic loser line. Now, something I read about you, Jason, is that, and I thought this was pretty funny. It says
if you read it, it must be true. If
okay,
you read it on the internet, it's doubly true.
You're described.
Everything is true on the internet.
You're described as an invisible star.
Yeah.
You go to premieres and you can go on the underground and no one recognizes you. Is that true?
It's true. It's true. I can pretty much move anywhere I like and do anything. I mean, occasionally I get people who say, "Wait, do I know you? I know you somewhere. You're familiar." And I go, and with a heavy heart, I go, "I'm an actor." And then either they say, "I don't know. What have you been in?" Or they say, "No. You owe me $10. I saw you in the fish can or whatever." So I get it completely wrong. But when they ask me to run through my resume and I'm standing in the supermarket, it's always incredibly embarrassing. And I'm loath to lead with Harry Potter because, I have a look at people and I go, do they look Army? If they're Army, I'll go Green Zone, Black Hawk Down. If they look like they're a gang member, I'll go Brotherhood. If they're got little kids, I'll go Peter Pan or something. But,
right.
It's always slightly embarrassing to stand there and run through 25 years worth of films until someone goes, "Oh, yeah," and then walks off.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Jason, let's talk about your upcoming film, Sweetwater. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sweetwater stars me, Ed Harris, and January Jones, and a fabulous Spanish actor called Eduardo Noriega, and Jason Aldean, of course. And it is a sick, twisted, entertaining revenge fantasy western. So it's set in the late 1880s in a town in New Mexico where January Jones is an ex-prostitute trying to settle down with her husband and start a normal life. But she really bummed out when she picked the town that I run because I am a cult leader, self-declared prophet, based on actually all kinds of real people who exist still and existed then. And I hear the word of God, and the word of God tells me to do whatever I want, to whoever I want, whenever I want to do it, which doesn't work out so well for her. And into which comes Ed Harris as a very eccentric, roguish sheriff for hire, who is searching for some people who went missing as they passed through the town. And things didn't go well for those people when they passed through the town, and things do not go well for anyone, frankly.
Sounds
in an
good.
entertaining bloodbath kind of collision course. And it's written and directed by these two identical twin writer-directors, Logan and Noah Miller, who are new filmmakers, and they do not want to tell stories the way other people tell stories. So every time I thought I knew where the story was going, it went somewhere entirely different. And that was one of the reasons I signed on.
Well,
Man, it sounds great.
We asked our listeners to send us questions to ask you today, and one listener wrote in, Paul Roy says, how do you like being cast as always being a villain, someone evil, always the bad guy?
Well, Paul, clearly clearly you weren't one of the not very many people who watched Awake on NBC, in which I was a hero. If you get Armageddon out, or you watch on something on Netflix or whatever, you will find out that I saved the planet as the head of NASA. Or Sweet November, I was Charlize Theron's transvestite next door neighbor. But the fact is that I love that people remember me for the juicy villains, because they're often the best parts, and I'm proud of them. And I was lucky, very lucky, to be part of Harry Potter and to play Captain Hook and some of these other iconic parts. So I just like having fun at work. I know it's embarrassing because most people don't enjoy their jobs, but I love my job, and if I can chew the scenery and have fun and get a lovely wig out of it and some free lunch, I'm happy as Larry.
And one more thing. Okay, so voice acting. You do some voice acting as well. Just kind of like what we do. I noticed that you were the voice actor for the game Castlevania Lords of Shadow, and you played Satan.
Yeah.
Can you do your Satan voice for us? We want to hear Satan.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the thing is. I've done so much. I do a lot of commercials in the UK, not here, and I've done a lot of cartoons. I was a plane and a car in Cars too, and I can't remember what Satan sounded like. And I do think they probably gave me another couple of octaves lower when they treated the voice afterwards. So I don't want to somehow denude it by doing a bad version on the radio, but I think suffice it to say, he was deeply unpleasant.
Oh, that's fun. I can't imagine Satan with your native tongue. It just would sound weird to me. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. I can't even remember. I don't think I did an English accent. I use American accents. I generally work in American accent because I now have moved to California because I'm deeply shallow and I like the sunshine.
I've never understood how you guys can do that. You go from, you speak in your native tongue, and then all of a sudden you just speak American like you're from Texas.
Well, it's partly because you have colonized the world, my friend, and so we grew up watching American television, American movies, listening to American music. And then the other thing is, there's a very strange thing that people don't understand about Britain, which is that within the sentence, when you talk in Britain to anybody else, people will know not just where you come from geographically, but where you come from socioeconomically and what level of education you've had and how you'd like to be perceived. All those things we are finely attuned to. So if you're an actor, you better be able to do accents and dialects, because they're incredibly important playing British characters, and not so much in America.
That's awesome. Well, you totally forgot that you saved the world in Armageddon. I completely spaced that out.
Well, there you go. Yeah. And I was a good guy in Event Horizon, I think, and a bunch of other stuff. Well, but, I'm very happy to be remembered as a villain, so that's all fine by me.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jason. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing Sweetwater. We'll look for that in theaters. It's today, correct?
It is today. It comes out in various theaters and VOD all over the country.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you, sir, for checking in with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.